all my spiritual black people, and I'm not talking about like institutional religion, like organized religion, all my spiritual black people, especially my spiritual black women, I need you to be able to take your spiritual practice a little underground for the world we're moving into, especially as our country is probably being injected with a heavy dosage of Christian nationalism. I don't want to say too much, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's some kind of like Salem witch trials event going on for people who don't conform back into the church on like a federally mandated level. Of course, it's not going to just like blatantly get to that point where it's like, if you're not showing up to church every week and putting in your Bible log, then we're going to. But these people rolled back abortion rights because they don't want to tell us to our face that they're trying to up the population. And then also increase the amount of slaves that they can exploit because they have no means of making amends with like the livable wage situation that's been going on. The point of this video is to say spiritual people, black spiritual women, understand that for the world we're walking into, a lot of traditional new age spiritual people, especially like the mainstream celebrities and leaders in that space right now, most of those people are going to go back to church out of fear, or they're going to get on psych meds, or they'll be forced onto psych meds. My bad. Most of them won't. Like, that's the reason why they're in the space they're in right now. But most of them will be forced onto psych meds and in like mental institutions. And if that's the case, the only thing you're going to have to lean on is your own practice, your own awareness, and your own intentions for your spiritual practice, one that is authentic to who you are outside of the validation of this world, especially outside of the validation of social media. When we aren't afraid of that solitude or facing whatever is in our closet, whatever skeletons, whatever demons, whatever is in there, we have the opportunity to build such a deep relationship with ourselves. We can become aware of our own gifts and cultivate those gifts in a way that we can utilize them fully behind our own intention, or fully fueled by our own intention, showing us the ability we have to influence this reality with our own personal magic. If these people don't want a black woman president to lead them in this country, do you think they want black women to be strong and confident and have any kind of power whatsoever, especially if it's a power that they cannot control or inhibit? They have to convince you or manipulate you into, or gaslight you into removing from your own ability to take or to cultivate. We have to construct a whole entire society that, and it does directly tell black women to like hate themselves, but we have to craft a whole entire society that fundamentally gets black women to either believe that they hate themselves out of their own experiences, or to internalize the hatred that the world is attempting to project onto them of self-hatred and rejection. So that same world that's forcing black women to reject themselves can exploit black women for all the gifts that are not being taken advantage of by that said black woman. I'm realizing that like I might be like Benjamin Button or some shit, bro. Like, but I'm not existing in the same like timeline as you niggas. And I'm not trying to say like I'm a psychic or I'm like ahead of time, but I receive from the future, and then I apply that to our present, and anything I need to make more sense of, I look back into the past to see what has been done, to see, okay, well, this makes sense, this pattern aligns here, this could happen, this seems like it has a real plausible chance of happening. And just feeling the environment, the time that we're in right now, and understanding what could happen for the goals that the powers that be have for themselves and for this world collectively. I want to make sure that our black spiritual women never lose sight of the innate divine power that exists within you. It's in you already. The gifts, the power, it's waiting for you to access it. And I genuinely believe the best way to do that is not by forcing yourself to or traumatizing yourself into it, but it really comes by loving yourself, knowing yourself enough, taking the time to truly develop such an intimate relationship with yourself that you allow yourself in its infinity to surprise you with the gifts that you have to present to this world. And maybe in being able to see that and recognize that value, you can see, you know what? There are other places in this world that can appreciate me, respect me, support me, compliment me in ways that allow me to not just share this power with myself, but share this power with my whole experience. That's already attempting to feed off of it, but not compensate me how I should be. Final theory. I have already made the claim a handful of times that God, the God of gods, is a black woman. But I'm starting to realize this. Not even starting to realize this. I just want to add this in here. This universe that we live in is just a womb. And it's going to sound super weird because it's like a hyper complex womb. But if you think about it, this is going to sound very woo-woo, so forgive me. Our souls come here, disconnect from whatever infinite source they're connected to, and they basically impregnate these planets and give life, or like are attached to material life to experience this limited experience. And then when we pass, we sacrifice this material body back to the earth that is material, and we go back with that infinite soul, in my belief, to other experiences in that same, like, impregnating ourselves into a reality or onto a planet, and then living that life, dying, letting that life go for what it was, and then moving on to the next experience, because this never ends for anybody. The only thing that ends is our awareness in a certain living being, because what is living has to die at some point. But what is infinite never dies. And that's what you have to recognize as a soul in a human body, instead of a human being who has a soul. There's something very, very intentional about our society not wanting the healthy, diversified cultivation of black women. There's like patriarchy is a much more spiritual disease and psychosis than we're willing to address. And I will continue to speak about that until I can't speak no more, because I want our people really focused on this shit. I'm so tired of the 20v1s. I'm tired of this like sprinkle. I'm tired of fucking red pill shit. Like, I want us to think about how complex are we? How amazing are we? How great can we be outside of what the slave master told us we are? Because if we knew who we really were, bro, we would not believe a single motherfucking thing him or his descendants or any of his people ever told us about ourselves, because we know it's only for the intention of taking advantage of us, because they know what we are, and that's why they hate us so bad. They know what we are, and they don't want us to know what we are, because then we stop believing their bullshit. You could take that as a fact.